if you hit a blow or a fracture in this area, so you have a hemorrhage, and that hemorrhage is primarily forms the extradural hematoma, right? So in extradural hematoma, what's the clinical importance of that incidence? So you have a accumulation of blood above the dura, and above the dura, below the skull. So in between the dura and the periosteum, you have the accumulation of blood. Okay, and that basically, basically the middle meningeal artery is ruptured. So blood, you have bleeding there, and it constantly increases the amount. So that amount basically compresses the brain. So beneath this is the brain. So you have a compression of the brain, and if you have a compression of the brain, then you would have, so whatever that area is basically innervating, you would have like, different neurological disturbances. Like you might have a motor disturbances or sensory, like vomiting, okay, having nausea, or the motor loss, okay, like speech or motor activity loss. So what do you do then? That's if you so what do you think you might do? So you have an increasing amount of blood, okay, so what would you do?
Remove them by taking the
Before that?
No,
diuretics.
Huh?
Take diuretics.
Right, diuretics, right? Diuretics, so you don't want much fluid inside the body. So if you have a lot of fluid, it would go and, because there's a rupture, so the fluid constantly would go to that area. So you don't want that. So what edema, so you don't want edema. So you would give diuretics. Diuretics, what does it do? It basically pushes the fluid of the body to the kidneys, so you can get rid of it. Okay, so that's one. So then you would do that. What else would you do? You would also what?
Drain holes.
So before that, you would also, try to decrease its tension, hypertension. Like again, that also is important. And if that doesn't work, then maybe at last, so you have to stay for a while. Then maybe they might like drill a hole and take the excess amount of fluid out, because the brain, after a certain while, it might go under ischemia, and then ischemia might go under necrosis and would damage or kill the neurons. Okay, so that's the temporal fossa. Let's look at the infratemporal fossa now. Okay, next. So infratemporal fossa is where, if we look at the skull, so it's beneath the zygomatic arch. So it's over here, right? It's beneath the zygomatic arch. And as you can see, so I'm going to get this. So laterally, it's basically bounded by this part of the bone. What is this? Right, ramus. Right, mandible to ramus. Ramus with the mandible. That's laterally. So I'm going to get the lateral wall out. The medial wall. Okay. So this is the lateral wall. The medial wall is this area here again. The medial wall. What is this? Right. This is This is pterygomaxillary fissure, and then palatine process too. So all this area is basically the medial wall. Okay. Anterior is the posterior aspect of the maxilla, and the posterior aspect is the styling process and mastoid process. And above, so we're talking about this area. Above, right, the sphenoid and part of the temporal bone above the roof. So we're talking about this area here. Okay, this area. Okay. I'm sorry, we're talking about infratemporal, not pterygopalatine. Yeah. So this is, this is infratemporal. Okay, let's do it again. So lateral wall is the ramus of the mandible. Medial wall, okay, let's look at the medial wall. Medial wall here is the pterygoid process. Anterior wall is the maxilla, or the posterior wall of the maxilla. Posterior wall is, again, styling process and parotid gland and the mastoid process. All right, so we got it now. Okay, that's about it. So this is the infratemporal fossa here. Okay, so into infratemporal fossa, we have a lot of structures. One, muscles. So which muscles do we see in infratemporal fossa?
Lateral pterygoid and medial pterygoid.
Medial lateral pterygoid muscles. So do we see masseter and temporalis muscle?
No.
No.
Okay, by the way, we forgot to talk about
Temporalis.
the content of the temporalis fossa is the temporalis muscle. Okay, so the content of the temporalis fossa is the temporalis muscle. So temporalis muscles located in the temporal fossa, medial lateral pterygoid muscles are located in the infratemporal fossa. However, the temporalis and the masseter is not part of the infratemporal fossa, and all these muscles are regarded as
Mastication.
muscles of
Mastication.
mastication. Okay, so these are masticator muscles. Okay. For instance, the temporalis muscle, it's like a fan-shaped muscle. It basically originates from all these supratemporal line and everything. It goes down and attaches to the coronary process here. So when it pulls the coronary process up, it would what? It would elevate the mandible. Okay, so it would elevate the mandible. So it basically acts in closing the mandible, closing the mouth, in either chewing or whatever. So that's temporalis muscle. So we talked about two muscles, medial pterygoid and lateral pterygoid muscle. Okay, here. So medial pterygoid, lateral pterygoid muscle. So these medial lateral pterygoid muscles is innervated by which nerve? So basically,
The anterior division of mandibular.
right, V3, right? So what's the content of the infratemporal fossa? Okay, medial pterygoid, lateral pterygoid. What else? Mandibular nerve. What else?
Maxillary artery.
Part of the maxillary artery,
Yeah.
maxillary vein, and the otic ganglion.
Otic ganglion.
Right, otic ganglion. So these are the contents. Okay, thank you.
Diğerleri aslında bu ısıdan kolay onu da dökülüyorlar hocam birden. Tutayım bir çekeyim.
Okay, so this is the pterygoid muscles. These muscles here, as you can see. Okay, so these are the pterygoid muscles. Here you see. So we have medial and lateral pterygoid muscle. So we're going to look at these independently in the digestive system. So these two muscles are innervated by the mandibular branch. Okay, we're going to look at that. And right, that's about it. That's the pterygoid muscles, medial and lateral pterygoid muscles. So what else do we have there? The mandibular nerve, right? Okay, let's look at the mandibular nerve from here. Okay, so can you see this? This is the trigeminal nerve. Okay. Yeah, trigeminal nerve has three divisions. V1.
Ophthalmic.
Yes. Yeah, look at it from over here. Or and then you can look it over here too. So this is the ophthalmic V1. This is V2, the maxillary, right? V3.